inverted, narcissistic, and most importantly, completely pointless. Come waste an hour of your week with The Starting Block, Friday nights Australian time at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. Get in touch with us on Twitter at The Starting Block, no K at the end. Also, subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or iTunes by searching for The Starting Block, all one word, or on Podbean at startingblock.podbean.com. Join the blockheads, tuning in their millions, right around the world.
You're listening to The Starting Block on tavshow.com.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Okie dokie, roll 'em!
Nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change.
Hey, welcome to The Starting Block for another week. Big show as always. We've got story time, we've got rip-offs, we've got home learning, we've got more Milo, Olympics, and all that, and much, much more here on The Block.
Standing tall on the wings of my dream. Rise and fall on the wings of my dream. Rain and thunder, the wind and haze, I'm bound for better days. My life, my dream, nothing's gonna stop me now.
It's Greeno here from The Starting Block. On behalf of The Block, we just wanted to let you all know that we're all in this together. Well, except if you have coronavirus, then stay the fuck away. But in every other situation, we're in it together. To all of you on the front lines, those of you turning a footstool, a wok, and a pitchfork into a home gym, those of you who have given your housemates a mental breakdown because you decided lockdown was a great time to learn the keyboard and the only thing you can play after 8 weeks is chopsticks over and over and over again. And those of you who are homeschooling and are now understanding the question you used to harass your maths teacher with of, when the fuck are we ever going to need to know this in the real world, is coming back to bite you on the ass. Just remember, like a 1990s Australian sitcom, we're all in this together. The days may be long, but in times like this, you can rest assured we will be here to waste an hour of your week, Friday nights Australian time, at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. So take care, social distance, whack on a mask, and subscribe to our show on iTunes. It may not cure coronavirus, but it sure will help us with our rankings. And isn't that really the most important thing right now?
Public Radio's loss is tavshow.com's game. You're listening to The Starting Block.
Hey, welcome to the Starting Block for another week. You've got myself, Greeno, and I'm joined by a man who's going to have no good jokes left for today's show because this is his third program of the day. My co-captain, Damo. How are we, sir?
Very good, Greeno. Good evening to you, blockheads, millions, etc., everyone around the world. How the fuck are you, man?
I'm doing all right.
I've got something for you. I've got a special little treat for you. If we can just go straight off.
I like stories about pinatas.
Because I know you put a lot of time. Yeah, I know you put a lot of time into the rundown, so that's why it brings me great joy always to disrupt it whenever possible.
To fuck up the rundown, which I had nothing on yesterday till about 4 o'clock, and I'm like, gotta find some stuff for tomorrow's show.
Yeah, I mean, you put so much
as this program goes on.
Yeah, I mean, you put so much work into it, Greeno. That's the thing, the dedication, Greeno. Week in, week out. So we've got a new little segment where we talk about something that Jim sent us. So you thought I'd be running dry, but then I came across this little thing that Jim sent in. Have a look at this, Greeno. Stolen mascots, vomit, and holes in the walls. Australian athletes party their way out of Tokyo.
Nice, Damo, can I interrupt this story very quickly? This is a very fucking popular story because not only did we get this from Jim N-Word, I got my first ever DM from Fascist Hippie about 45 minutes ago with this exact same story.
Nice,
and so thank you for Fascist Hippie as well for sending it through. And also BE sent us a very similar story. So this is hot block content off the press from all different facets. Now, can we talk about parts of the globe? Now, Jim N-Word, he's American?
No, Canadian.
Canadian, excellent. Yep. Fascist Hippie, American?
Australian.
Yep. And then BE
an
Australian, but just living in England. So we're all over the globe. Everyone's just pumped with this particular story. So I'm looking forward to it. And it also means segment 9 is now gone because that's where it was in the rundown.
Nice, Gary!
See, segment 9, I don't have segment 9. My list only goes up to segment 8,
because I put in 2 new stories. Segment 7 is now out of the rundown.
Okay. I'll just preemptively accept your apology on that one because I thought I was doing something random and fun, but I still want to talk about it now because.
No, we're going to talk about it now. It's fine, but that's my bad for adding more content to the show. That's my own fault.
Yeah, we should have discussed this in pre-show, which is incidentally what we're doing right now.
Excellent. Let's have a look at the story, though.
Yeah, stolen mascots.
I got some interesting thoughts on this.
Okay. Stolen mascots, vomit, holes in the walls. Australian athletes party their way out of Tokyo, Greeno. I just, what you were saying goes exactly to my point that I was going to make is that I think, most Aussies, right, the commentators and the media and people who are making comments about it, they're all going to come out and condemn them. You know what I mean? You know that it's going to be uniform across the press. Anybody who doesn't condemn them will be kind of shamed out of saying so in these kind of media roles and stuff. But this shit makes me so proud because I reckon what happens if you put a room full of Australians together and say, all right, what have we got? All right, we've got one more night in Tokyo, and then we're all headed back to Sydney to the fucking lockdown. Okay, what should we do? I know. And then 5 minutes later, fucking skull. That shit makes me so fucking proud. And I just want to. That's better than you could have won a gold medal in every event, and this would make me more proud. So hats off. A nice fucking Gary.
Nice Gary for them. 100% nice Gary for them. I was only talking about this story with the wife last night, and it was this one. It was the one about the Aussie rugby players on the flight home from the games.
Okay.
I didn't hear this one. Today, the Kookaburras, 10 of the players were, condemned for breaching protocols because they went out and mingled with some other teams that they're not meant to do inside the thing. Now, my theory is these guys have been robbed of the true Olympic experience, right? They've given them cardboard non-fuck beds. They can't mingle. They got to wear a mask everywhere. They're constantly
there's no crowd except for the other athletes.
There's no crowd. They can't get no side tang from from
locals.
Groupies. Exactly. They can't intermingle amongst other sports or athletes. Yeah. So at the end of this, they're at the end of the 2 weeks. They followed all the protocols. The billions of dollars that were on the line, the athletes have done their job, right? They've made sure these games went ahead and put fucking billions upon billions of billions into fat rich pricks' pockets anyway.
Yep.
So if they choose to let loose after the games, fucking credit to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Nice,
they can piss, shit, vomit, put holes in. They can glory hole on a plane for all they care because they did their
on
job.
a plane, like through the hull, Greeno, through the fuselage.
Between first and economy, like there's
right.
a glory hole in between the two.
Where
I don't
the
know which way you're
curtain
gonna go.
Yeah.
With the curtain ears, you just put the dick through.
So who's
and,
sucking though? Economy would obviously be sucking, wouldn't they?
I think
And
economy
first
has to be
class
on
would
the sucking
receiving.
side. That's right. Yeah, receiving. So the quality side is there. I say, nice Gary, credit to him.
Yep.
Like, enjoy yourself because you've been robbed. You've been robbed of every other experience. Like, you forced these guys who've been training for years and years and years to basically follow nothing but strict protocols for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now that they've, like I said, they've paid the bills for everyone.
Yep.
Let them let loose before they fly back and, like you said, go into a fucking lockdown.
Yeah, no. I think Greeno, what you'll find is these young people who are often like, you know, kind of 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, like the average age of an Olympian is far lower than the average age of, say, a football player or something like that. It's a much shorter time span as an athlete, and it's a much less lucrative one. You have to do it because you really, really are fucking dedicated, right? And if you're not dedicated, guess what? You're out of there. You can't just like ease your way through the shit. So, you know, after all that, like this is going to be, no. After all that, Greeno, we need to punish these people. We need to make an example out of them. We need to kind of drag them. If we could possibly get their sponsors to leave them as well because of the disgraceful way they conducted themselves, I think, because that'll be next. That's what they're vultures, Greeno. They're going to start picking the fucking meat off the bones of this story now, and then they're going to chase them around with it for the rest of their fucking careers. Greeno, just to get clicks. So, hey, happy days.
Nice, Gary.
It's going to be fun anyway. But yeah,
The world we live in.
good on them. And that was Jim N-Words. We need music for Jim N-Words' fucking article of the week.
Yeah, we need to come up with something for Jim, don't we?
Yeah.
Because he sends through a lot of stuff.
Oh,
he
Big
also sends
It should be Big Jilm, shouldn't it?
Now we're talking, Big Jam.
That's it.
And then we get the Jim N-Word story. Yeah, fucking good call.
Done.
Let's cue that up for next week.
Right.
Once again, something we probably could have discussed after the show.
Bit of pre-show, you think?
Or in pre-show.
Yeah.
Or in between the week, like talk about, sound bites. But,
We
like
could
I said,
do
we
stuff
like
like
opening the
that.
kimono.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That'd be professional.
I don't know if we have the time to really do that stuff.
Big Jam. Big Jam.
It's got himself a theme song.
That's it. Can we give actually, I'm going to give you a nice Gary for bringing up Jim N-Word's theme song so quickly.
Yeah,
he deserves it. Quick story time to kick off the show.
I like stories about pinatas.
It's funny what you need to do to keep yourself occupied during lockdown, Damo. You do things that you normally would not do. And I took I took a little bit of an example of a conversation we had a couple of weeks ago where we were talking about the wind and the wind blowing over the bins and the big old clusterfuck.
Yeah,
the bins blowing over in the middle of the night
and the mystery of the missing bin that was a thing for a while, and then we got the bin back, and then it was getting knocked over. We had to get a new bin, the fresh bin. I mean, it was all happening.
Yeah. Big old circus with the bins. Now, I don't live too far away from like a lake and a beach, so very windy in my area, no matter what time it is. And the daughter was like, "Dad," like she saw someone out in the street playing with a kite, and that's an old school kind of like fun thing to do. Like, remember being a kid playing with a kite?
A little bit, but I usually ended up with the kite fucking up or something and smashing it into a tree or some shit, and I'm like, fuck it, and just leave it there.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I could probably count the amount of kite flying experiences I had as a kid probably on one hand.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was more of a go and ride. I was more of a go and ride your bike around the place and shit. Okay. Let's just go ride down to the shops or something. Stuff like that.
All good. So the daughter was like, "Dad, like these people out the front are playing with a kite. How come we don't have a kite?" I'm like, "I think I do." Now I got given a kite like 20 years ago, right? And it was like a joke present, but for some reason I've just kept it. Is
it a good kite with like one string, or is it one of those 2-string fucking super kites?
I'll get back to you.
Okay.
So I'm like, I swear I've kept this kite, and solely for the purpose of one day I might have a kid and they might want to play with the kite. So I've just kept it because I'm like, I'm not going to buy a kite. Fuck that. Like, I'm not going to use my money. Look at a kite here. Perfectly good kite. Why would I buy a new kite?
Do you think kite technology might have changed from when you were a kid to like the kids today, or because maybe
we'll
an
find
ancient
out.
kite, won't be
Maybe.
much of a status symbol on the playground, Greeno?
Maybe.
Yeah.
So go for a rummaging through. Magically, while I'm trying to find something for my kid's schoolwork, find the kite. And I'm like, hey, kiddo, we are on. I've got the kite. We're good to go. And I set it all up, put it out.
Yeah.
And then not one gust of wind for like 4 days.
Nice.
So I'm out here trying to put the kite up in the air, flick it, throw it, run it. Nah, nothing's happening, right?
Yeah.
And the poor kids look at me like, Dad's a fucking idiot. He can't even work out the kite. Like, this guy's a moron.
It's so easy, Dad.
Yeah, and to answer your question, it's kind of like it's almost like a box kite, right? It's got two strings, but then it's got two sections of the kite. So you're gonna get a double wing gust, right? Because you got double kite action.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, this is gonna be good to go. But anyway, a couple of days pass, and then the wind's gusting up, and the daughter's like, grabbing me. She's like, Dad,
let's rock and roll. Here we go.
She's like, can we do kites today? And I'm like, so I'm like, look, admittedly, it's 10 o'clock and I'm in the middle of a work day, but we got to strike while the iron's hot.
Absolutely. There's a window, Greeno. You jump through.
There's a window.
Yeah.
Outside, throw up the kite. Next thing I know, 20-year-old kite snaps.
Yes.
So I've been saving this fucking thing for 20 years to be able to fly the kite with my kids.
Fuck.
Finally get a windy day.
Brutal, man.
And the hook that holds the kite through the handle snaps.
Oh, I feel so bad for her because like this was built up so much, like for a whole week, no, there's not enough wind. And finally we get out there, yes, let's go. And then and it's off. It's gone.
Done.
That's just fucking brutal, man.
That's my kite story.
That's a very nice
I like stories about pinatas.
Wow. Devastating.
It is. Now, Damo, still doing the homes this week. Been a prick of a week.
Okay.
I talked a couple of weeks ago how I was trying to juggle homeschooling and my job. This week I was for job Greeno.
Okay.
Because I was doing my job. My boss took a week of leave, so I was doing his job.
Right.
My daughter was still homeschooled, so I was also a teacher. And then my son had a temperature at the start of the week and a cough, which meant he's not allowed to go to daycare until he has no symptoms. So I was also daycare all week.
Nice, Gary!
You're piling up the responsibilities and the duties over there, Greeno. It's getting hectic now.
There's only so far I can stretch myself. There's only so much cocaine I can take before it becomes inappropriate to do all those jobs.
In front of your children, especially. Like, you can get away with the occasional, like, little line off the top of the fridge because they're too short to see what's up there. But then you've got to be careful in other parts of the house.
That's right.
Yeah.
Daddy sure loves his whiz fizz. Got to get through the day, honey.
I mean, he's putting it in his coffee and everything. Like he's sprinkling it on his toast, Mummy. Is that normal?
Daddy, why are you sniffing the sugar? I don't understand. It's for my coffee, honey. So anyway, I'm trying to take some small victories wherever I can, trying to find some interesting and amusement no matter what I can throughout the course of the day. Because there's a lot of balls in the air. I'm kind of like a juggler, but more entertaining. That's the way I look at it. So this week though, there's been a lot of videos that the kid wants to watch during the school day. Okay. And they're educational videos, so it's all fine. So this week they were teaching the kids about buoyancy.
Okay.
So I put on this clip, and I'm like, hang on a second. This doesn't seem right. Now let's play the clip.
Okay.
And then we'll reflect on where my concerns may have been. Let's watch a little bit of a show called Blippi.
Okay.
But probably go about the 3-minute mark. You asked me about timestamp. Let's go to about the 3-minute mark. Yeah, there's good enough.
Okay, let's have a look.
All the way down to the bottom. That means they sink. Hey, look. Some apples. Check this out. Whee! Whoa!
Oh, he's very annoying already. He's like... I'm not a judge a book by its cover kind of a person, but when it comes to casual entertainment, I'm very hit or miss. So like within the first 5 seconds, I'm already thinking, I don't like this person. Like is
it the voice?
The voice and the hat and the glasses and the straps and everything. The
suspenders. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like him much.
All right. That's right. Well, let's watch a bit of Blippi.
Okay.
Apples will sink or float. Woohoo!
Hang on. Hang on a minute.
So hang on, this
Hang on
guy's
a minute.
throwing shit in the pool. He's going
Okay.
to see if they sink or float. And look, we've talked about on this show many a time. We consider ourselves from the school of David Letterman.
Yeah.
Nice, Gary!
Basically, our goal on this program is to waste people's time
Exactly.
and pass it off as entertainment,
Right.
a la what Letterman used to do.
Yeah, he's the
So
king.
we've watched maybe thousands of episodes of Letterman over our time, and one of our favorite segments when we were growing up was a little segment called "Will It Float?"
That's right.
Have we got a little bit of "Will It Float" ready to play? Yeah, we do.
Definitely do. Let's have a look.
Jeff Goldblum is on the program, and Terrell Owens, and also Caroline Ray. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play Will It Float? Here we go.
Will it float?
Will it float? Will it float? And here, by the way, is the home game.
The home game,
Greeno.
Greeno.
Everything continues home box. You can have just as much fun at home as we do every Friday night here in the theater. Sure do. It's the perfect stocking stuffer. Yes. If you
I haven't
have
fucking
strangely
seen it.
shaped feet. Yeah.
Can I just say, nice Gary Greeno?
Nice, Gary!
Because I got fucking tears in my eyes because I haven't seen this for so long. Like, so
That's
long
brilliant, though.
since I've watched any, like...
That's what I thought. All right, Alan, what are we playing for tonight?
Dave, we are playing for a cheese log.
Nice. There it is.
Big Red.
Cheese log. And what is the item that we're floating or sinking?
Dave, we're playing for a cheese log.
Yes.
The item is a cheese log.
Now, okay, so we're grading levels of entertainment here. Now, this is apparently is this the new generation's version of Will It Float, Greeno?
This appears to be, the children of the current day's version of Will It Float.
Okay.
Let's compare the two. Good call.
Because we were the age of the children watching Letterman back then, right? Because we both used to just not sleep at night. So you'd just watch fucking
insomniacs.
nighttime TV, and Letterman was on at like midnight. So, okay, so this is what the kids have. All right, let's see how they go.
Hey, all three of them float. Whoa. I love reading, especially newspapers. They're so exciting. That's what my grandparents would say.
Fucking hell.
All right, here we go. Hey, look.
That's
Those
Blippi's
newspapers
example.
float.
This is terrible. We need to
Oh, I see.
No,
Well, I'm glad,
cheese log.
glad to see that it's not
Cheese log.
only
Because
me
now I
tonight.
need to see if the cheese log floats or
Trouble
not.
making sense of
yeah, I am intrigued by the cheese log.
I mean, look at this. This is 2 minutes of just wasted time here.
Wasted time.
See, and this is the magic of David Letterman. Like for me, the discussion between Letterman, Leno, O'Brien, etc. It's not even close because Letterman he pioneered this fucking style of just wasting. He had open disregard for, like what you're supposed to do. He's just like, oh no, we'll just fucking waste their time. We'll talk for 2 minutes about whether or not a cheese log will float before we
Will
just
float.
put it in a thing of water.
For a
Exactly.
monkey.
Oh, good, I'm lucky, that's it.
Back to you, Dave.
Yeah. Are you happier
That was
now?
awful.
I feel much better.
All right.
A cheese log, and it's a fat. She's got all that fat. It's got to float.
You say, but it's heavy. I say it's going to sink.
You say it's going to sink?
Yes.
All right, bring up the deal.
Yeah,
and
I
let's
don't know.
play
I
Will
think
It
it'll
Float. Here we
float,
go,
man.
ladies and gentlemen.
I reckon it's gonna float.
Yeah.
Hi, girls.
And the girls.
Nice to see
And the
you.
grinder girl,
Anytime, dump it in
grinder
there.
girl, hula hoop girl, and two models.
Absolutely. Oh, straight to the
Oh,
bottom.
it sinks.
That-
And it sinks.
Now,
That's how we
interesting.
tackle it.
I don't. That's like strangely entertaining.
Hmm.
Yet Blippi makes me want to stab myself in the eye.
Yeah.
Now, they're both doing the same thing. But
Essentially.
somehow,
Yeah.
stabby for Blippi, yet entertained and smiling for Letterman. But I just want to bring this to the table for everyone, just as a warning. Like, don't accept any imitation. Will it float?
Good, yes.
Don't accept it.
Nice, Gary!
It's a good message,
Always-
Greeno.
Stick with the original. Do that. Fun little story time in relation to Will It Float.
I like
back,
stories about pinatas.
back in the day, before you could just put whatever you wanted as like your phone ringtone.
Mm.
I had this phone that could record audio, and I stayed up like middle of the night watching Letterman just so I could record the Will It Float song. So that was my ringtone for like 2 years back in my teenage years. So someone would call Greeno, I'd be like, will it float? Will it float?
That's fantastic. Amazing little story.
I like stories about pinatas.
Now, you thought Blippi was a little bit off the wall, Damo. Now, there's another little...
Oh, he's so
thing,
random and crazy and hip and wild.
He's crazy.
Fresh.
Now, that's one aspect. Now, there's another particular clip that the kids got to watch every day. Now, it's a numbers thing, right? So they teach them to count to 30, backwards from 30.
Do we have a clip of it, or...
Now, we don't. And the reason I didn't send it is because I'm worried about possible defamation, what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Because for some reason, the host of this program that I've been watching for 4 weeks, the dude, a little bit, got a bit of a pedo vibe about him, sir.
Oh, what? What are you saying?
I'm watching it, and I'm like, this dude seems like a bit of a creepy pedo. But my kid's got to watch this program every day, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Does the school like proof check these videos before they send it too?
I think you're asking a little much for proof checking. There was a story going around a few weeks ago. I don't know if you saw it or not. Some organization in England had to apologize because they sent a guy dressed in a rainbow monkey suit with a dildo strapped between his legs down to the library to read books to children. Like that's a real story. And it was like after it became public, I swear to God, after it became public knowledge, they were like, oh, sorry, we should have done more oversight. So I think if you're expecting, the same entity to do, full intensive checks of children's entertainers on, learning from home videos, I think you're going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, a little bit of a concern. Now,
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying the oversight idea. That's not a thing.
The oversight's a bit of a concern. When the daughter doesn't even want to watch the video, I'm like, something's not right with this dude. We need to come up with a different video. But I'm trying to think of a way to approach it with the teachers to go.
Does he have a Josh Kennedy haircut, Greeno?
It's worse. He's got a creepy porno mo.
Oh, nice. Just a mo. Just a mo only.
Yeah, just a mo. Yeah, it's off.
Are you always suspicious of people who have only a mustache? I am a little bit. Unless they're like, Burt Reynolds or whatever.
Yeah, there's the stylish mo, then there's the creepy mo. There's levels of mo that I'm like, I'm comfortable with. Other ones, I'm like, well, it's warning signs.
Yeah. If you see if you see a mo with a little curl, then you know you're having a good time that night. Like this guy's gonna have a lot of stories. He's gonna drink brandy. This is gonna be fun.
See, he's a character.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to leave my children in the same room as this dude.
That's the one that just kind of that's the handlebars that just go down past the mouth, like down onto the chin. And, you might not want to have any hair on your chin, Greeno, because you might have a little tattoo there or something. That's, those are the ones where you're more like, well, come with me, kids. Why? Just because. I said so. Let's leave right now.
Yeah. Good way to go to an ad break where you're like, hey, you guys interested in candy?
Do you like your novelty comedy songs organic? Handmade with painstaking care, put into every note? Well, look no further than Irrational Times. Using only the finest instruments to create an experience that your ears will thank you for later. Irrational Times attempts to elevate the whimsy to a desirable level. New songs and sketches every week, so check it out.
There's a place that we can go to watch old things. All the warm, fuzzy member berries it brings. It's a special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Campy old movies and old cartoons. We hope to see you over there very soon. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. When we were kids and there wasn't any school, we'd sit and watch all the best cartoons, eating cereal until it was noon. We never thought that 30 years later could still be cool. Saturday night and cheesy movies, the ones that used to show us boobies. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy.
Now with less than 3% sport content. It's the starting block on TAVshow.com.
Yep, welcome back to the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us, the best way to do so would be via the little blue bird. Follow Greeno at the starting block, one word, drop the code at the end. Follow myself at BoogieBumper Greeno. We've been updated, Greeno. We've been enlightened by great friend of the show, part of the block family, BE from the UK, the Earth reporter, Greeno. And he's been recently getting in touch with us and giving us, he's always the one that's driving the Milo updates here on the show.
Yeah.
He's the guy, like, if we have a Milo department, he's running it. He's the man in charge. And he sent through this one not that long ago. We're going to have to put this in the rankings, but I think this is a sensitive topic. Nestle Milo tin mishaps prompts stern warning, Greeno. We are once again being warned. I know, so we're dangerous Milo now, Greeno. That's a new thing on the Milo rankings. We are once again being warned about where we put our rubbish after a lizard was found with its head trapped in a can of Milo. Greeno.
Nice, Gary. Ooh, okay, so this is kind of like an environmental Milo.
This is a socially conscious Milo, Greeno.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a responsible broadcasting Milo.
So there's continue with the thing. Okay. It's got me thinking. Yeah. Like if we're gonna put a Milo warning into the list, that's fucking gonna be pretty close to Milo Yiannopoulos topping something.
Yes.
Nice, Gary. Well, I'm not saying it's gonna, but it's gonna be pretty close. Like a whole article about the safety risks of a Milo tin to lizards is gonna be pretty fucking low on the rankings.
Well, I was thinking, right, if we do the rankings, what if we started doing the rankings in reverse? Because it seems like Milo Yiannopoulos is not even in the top 50 Milos that we've found anymore. But
not anymore, no.
No, but so I reckon he'd be closer to the bottom of the list than he is to the top, because I'm not sure how many more there are after 50 odd or whatever we've got now collected over the last 3 years. So here's what I'm thinking. What if we start doing the wooden spoon Milo rankings and, you know, coming in second last is the horrific story of these poor creatures being trapped in people's garbage Milo tins, which means once again, coming in last place, the least popular Milo, Greeno, would be Milo Yiannopoulos.
Nice, Gary! Well, I hate to point it out here, if we're going to look at the rankings, though, I think Milo, I'm going to put in 49 out of 50.
Really?
Because this one's worse. So unfortunately, Milo misses out even on the top spot in the
reversal.
In the reversal.
That's unfortunate, isn't it? For Milo. Can't even take that one out.
Can't even take the wooden spoon out, unfortunately. Some good news for you, Damo. You were worried about the lack of Milos to add to this list. I saw Milo was trending the other day.
Okay.
And I don't know whether it was in relation to the lizard story or something else.
Yeah.
But it actually, when I clicked on the topic, it actually gave me top Milo people.
Really?
Like Twitter's got its own list.
Oh, really?
Now this is only people. This is actually only people with Twitter handles. So
are they stealing our shit now? Are they stealing our Will It Float, Greeno?
It seems as though, because I clicked on top Milo people and suddenly, hello boys, we've got a few little Milos there. Now they haven't gone to the depth and analysis that we do on this particular program.
Of course
they go to the research sites that B does, where he looks into historical Milos.
See, because they're pretenders, Greeno. They don't really care. They're not really in it for the right reasons. Yeah.
What I did find interesting, though, one of the people on our list is in the top 3 of Twitter Milos, if you will.
Okay.
Milo Ventimiglia out of This Is Us fame is actually the top. He gets number one on the Twitter Milo rankings
Really?
there.
That's got to be satisfying for Milo
Ventimiglia.
What is it again?
Ventimiglia.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's got to be satisfying for him to be, you know, the number one Milo on Twitter.
On Twitter, exactly.
I mean, imagine if they didn't get rid of Milo Yiannopoulos. because this particular Milo, I would suspect, you know, upwards of 99.8% of the Twitter population have no idea who he is. And yet he's the most popular Milo on the internet now because they got rid of the other one.
Well, that's semantics, sir. Semantics.
It doesn't matter how you win. It doesn't matter how you win, Greeno. You've got to Bradbury the shit out of it when you get the opportunity.
Exactly. Are you saying Milo Ventimiglia is actually the Stephen Bradbury of the Milo ranking?
I am indeed. I'm saying he's the guy who had no chance of winning until the runner in front broke his fucking ankle for no reason. And then he just kind of scooted past like, hey, biggest Milo on the internet. He should put in his Twitter bio, the biggest Milo on the internet, Greeno.
Nice,
He should own it.
There was also a New York Jets player, Milo Eifler. Milo Eifler, sorry, is second on Twitter. Never heard of him. He doesn't make our top 10, but he's currently 2 on the Twitter. Yep. And then you got Milo Manheim, who's a Takis enthusiast. Is the third highest Twitter Milo out there.
It's a good effort.
Disappointing with their list personally, because for us, Milo Ventimiglia just sneaks into the top 10 regularly. They haven't considered soon-to-be dead dog Milo. They haven't been considered Milo.
Well, no, didn't we discuss last week that soon-to-be dead dog Milo is actually now dead dog Milo?
Now dead dog Milo, but we still like to refer to him at the time that they entered the rankings. His official title at the time of ranking.
Because we wouldn't want to dead name him now, would we?
Exactly. Yeah. We don't want to rebrand. So it's still going to be soon to be dead dog Milo. There was no Milo from Milo and Otis, which we also worked out. A lot of dead dogs involved there.
Yeah, like a dumpster full out the back of the film studio. And they all act as the one Milo though.
Yeah. They got me thinking, how many dogs do you reckon died in the making of the movie Beethoven?
Beethoven? No, it's got to be the same dog, man. Those things are hard to train.
Well, I thought the same about, Milo and Otis. I'm like, it's all the same. But
well, do you know?
Pesky told us there's plenty.
Oh, well, see, now I've got to look that up because now I've got to know, was there more than one Beethoven? How the fuck do I find that out? What website do I go to figure out if there was more than one Beethoven?
Deaddogs.com.
Deaddogs.com. Okay.
While you're doing that, sir, a bit of a late addition to the rundown.
Yeah.
Sent it through to you earlier today. We like cancelling things, and sometimes people help us out in advance. And it turns out we're going to have to cancel women's Juventus soccer team.
Nice, Gary.
Where I don't know if you've got that pic that I sent through. That wasn't in the original rundown. Excellent. There we go. Now, they had to apologize for this tweet. They still haven't deleted the tweet, I don't think. But they sent a picture of her with what looks like say that's an athletic cone on her head.
Yes. And
a sprinting cone, training cone.
And describe for the podcast listeners, Greeno, what is she like portraying here? What is she doing?
She's doing the slanty eyes, Damo. So I guess.
So she's doing a thing where she pinches the corner of her eye and like ching chong 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 chong. Yeah. She does something like that. Yeah.
But then the post is a picture of an emoji of someone with the slanty eyes also.
I just noticed that.
Nice.
This is sent,
I didn't even
notice
sent
by
that,
the official Juventus women's team. That they've then had to send out an apology, not just to the picture. Because then they've doubled down with the emoji. What do they say? We sincerely apologize for our tweet, which was not meant to cause controversy.
Yeah, it didn't last long, did it?
Or how can you say that picture? She's like, we don't mean it for have any racial undertones. What was the intention of that picture if it didn't have racial undertones of her impersonating like a Chinaman or something?
Yeah, because hey, we're here in Tokyo. Exactly.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping instead of going with the apology, they just doubled down. So like the next
Yeah.
tweet in response to the outrage was like "miso horny," like just fucking doubling down hard on like really,
Why you attack Aventus? We love you long time.
we love you long time. Spot on. Like just go full hog because if you're already getting shit anyway, just fucking triple down if you can.
If they had have not apologized, I would say to you, Greeno, it would have been a huge moment on the show because it'd be like, okay, I finally found a women's football team that I can respect, or at least, watch or not even watch. I'm not going to watch fucking women's football ever, but I'll support, like kind of spiritually. I'd be like, well, I hope they do well, but then they apologize. And so we've got to withdraw that support, Greeno, before it's even given, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the girls.
And with the lamest response ever.
But it was worth the initial outrage, though, wasn't it? It was worth it.
Oh, of course. Yeah, good for shits and giggles.
Absolutely.
I did watch a little bit of women's football late last week.
Oh, you poor man. I feel so sorry for you.
It was Australia versus the USA.
Did somebody kidnap your children or something? Or
no, I watched 5 minutes of it, and it was the final 5 minutes of the game, and it was very reminiscent of the Simpsons take of what football is.
Yeah, we spoke about this last week.
Oh, we did we? Oh, excellent. I couldn't remember whether it was before last week's.
Seems to be the hardest word.
I thought it might have been on Sunday. I thought there we go.
There you go.
That's how light we are on content. That's the end of this segment. Because I'm rehashing shit that wasn't funny a week ago in segment 2 to pad out segment 2.
I like how you get 45 minutes into the show and then say, hey, that's how light we are on content this week.
It's the JJ Stoner Spring Collection, the perfect attire for any and every occasion you can think of this season. Like we were in the mosh pit full of sweat and everyone's slapping, hitting, and pulling on you. This shit won't rip! Lunch at your favorite cafe? Brunch with the girls? These stylish ensembles will give you the confidence you need to look and feel your best. Or if you're getting arrested for possession, it comes with a built-in police stick-proof body armor. Keep swinging, pigs! Call now, and your order will come with a complimentary ounce of that dankest bubblegum slurricane that the South has to offer. Don't forget the wall tapestry! If you need to cover your wall, it works!
Hello, my name is Frozen Asian, and I'd like to tell you about my show, The Sunday Night Shit Show, every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Along with good conversations and laughing at funny and weird shit we find on the internet, we also have the Hat Cam, where I showcase my myriad of great-looking hats. Here is a testimonial from a great friend of mine who has enjoyed my hats lately.
I hope your next hat is a bullet. Jesus Christ, what are you, fucking Asian Dick Tracy? What's wrong with you? Why do you have to ruin my evening? Like I was gonna just listen to my buds do their show, and you just gotta do that. You do the show without the hat.
So you're not enjoying it?
No.
Dude, Asian
come
Dick
on,
Tracy.
secretly you enjoy it.
You look like you're going undercover in Argentina, but it's not working.
I hate you. I hate you.
Come on, you secretly love it.
No, I openly hate it.
And there you have it. So subscribe to the Sunday Night Shit Show at youtube.com/Sunday Night Shit Show. And hope to see you there on Sunday nights. Bye.
Welcome to The Starting Block. Follow on Twitter at The Starting Block. Drop the K at the end. Find the podcast on iTunes or on tavshow.com.
Yes, back on the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Damo, quickly off the rundown for a second. I don't know about you, But I'm mesmerised by the New South Wales health alerts of like places of interest. Like
Okay.
if you've been here, don't like go get tested, blah blah blah.
Mm.
Just out of intrigue
Okay.
as to where people go when they may have been infectious with COVID.
Right.
And I just came through one across the break,
Okay.
and I was a little bit disappointed when I googled the place. I was expecting something different. One that popped up today was the Corset Bar and Supper Club in Hamilton.
Nice, Gary!
And I'm like, oh, hello, boys. So we got a
Yeah,
little bit of,
Corset Bar and Supper Club sounds like
Supper
that
Club.
place in The Simpsons. You know, the fucking house. You know, the burlesque house.
I know the one you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. And what? So what did it end up being? You said it was disappointing.
It turns out it's just a wanky looking bar. It's actually not what you think it may be.
Right.
I think because the word supper also looks like the word stripper. So you've already got the corset bar, so you already got that kind of image in your head, and then you see the word supper, but you kind of put in the word stripper, and you're just like, hey, this is exciting. That's the other interesting thing. Like out of all these places, everything seems to be above board. You know what I mean? Like everything's like, oh yeah, I went to Charcoal Chicken, I went to Woolworths, and I went to that. No one's ever been to Jim's Bondage store or something like that. Like,
Are you saying that the bondage stores and perhaps the brothels or what have you, they're not getting the same kind of COVID inspection treatment as everybody else is, Greeno, maybe?
perhaps what I'm saying is I think there's maybe people aren't QR coding in when they're going to Jim Bondage Warehouse.
Do you think do you think people would have a problem with? I mean, we're all in this together though, right? We're keeping people safe. It's all about protecting people. So do you think that people would have a problem if they knew that they were scanning into Jim's bondage shed or whatever it might be, Greeno? Do you think that they, do you think they'd be happy to? I don't care if the government knows that I'm here when a COVID outbreak happens. I mean, when they shut it down and when they walk me into the quarantine hotel and put my name up and everything, and yeah. Well, so there was another outbreak at the bondage shack today, and it's like, here are the people who were involved in it. We know because they left their details right there at the front desk. So
if you've deep throated a gag ball between these hours, go get yourself tested.
If you were in the economy class glory hole situation flying back from Tokyo, then we might have to have a chat to you because you probably went straight to Jim's bondage shack directly after you landed.
Forget the quarantine.
Because in Japan, Greeno, you can buy sex toys like out of vending machines on the streets.
Vending machines, exactly. Yeah, that's already that's duty free. You pick that up duty free. You don't have to go to Jim's Bondage Warehouse for that one. You're all good. Happy days over there. Absolutely. Now back to the show at hand. I don't know if you saw this news yesterday, Damo. Valentino Rossi has decided to hang up the boots.
Oh, nice.
Nice, Gary.
A nice Gary to Valley, because not a nice Gary that he's going, but everyone's got to retire eventually. A nice Gary because he's been the best. He was the best fucking there ever was, I reckon.
No doubt. Like, you can talk about, Agostini and whatnot, or, people talk about Doohan or who's the other one they normally put
Wayne
up there?
Rainey.
No, they don't put Rainey up there. It's normally, Agostini, Rossi, sometimes Doohan.
Well, they don't put Rainey up there because he was cut down in his prime by a fucking, losing the ability to walk, Greeno. So that's why
that generally hinders your ability to be the greatest when you can't walk anymore, let alone ride a boat.
Fucking brutal, mate.
But you're the one that raised him. Like, fuck.
They do talk about him in those terms. It's just like because he'd already won one, didn't he? By when he was injured, one or two. Kevin Schwantz was his big rival. Mick Doohan was around, remember? And then
he was around.
Then Doohan won like 3 or 4, didn't he?
He won 4 in a row. It was just unbeatable. That's why, Mick was up there. It's one of the greatest.
What about Casey Stoner? Casey Stoner just quickly won that one, and then he was like, all right, that's it. So and he's never really gone back to it, has he? He's just
No, he's won 2. He won 2.
He won 2.
One with,
but one
with the Honda, and then went on Ducati. Won, and then
he
said, and he's like, oh, I'm done now because I got a young family and I don't want to,
But wasn't he going to do V8s or something? And that never really happened.
He did. He went and raced for a year in the V8 supercar, kind of like the series below. Is that the Dunlop series, maybe?
I don't know.
Whatever the tier below V8 is.
Yeah, it's the cars that are like 2, 3, 4 years old and stuff.
Yeah. He raced in that for like a year or two, and then ended up going back and doing testing for Honda again. And then he just kind of like went off. He'd earned his millions. He went and lived on his farm and just hung out with his family.
There you go. That's a nice
smart way to do it.
Nice,
I was 27. He won 2 world championships, made millions upon millions of dollars, and he never has to work again. Like went and lives on.
They
his farm.
they all say apparently like when they have kids, like each kid they have slows them down like a quarter of a second a lap.
Yeah,
I don't know. Have you heard that before?
I have heard that.
Remember, was it Luca Catalora, the guy who used to have the was he the guy who had the rag around his neck? Who was that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
no, I think that's what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, and I think it was him because he was like, when he was later in his career, is kind of like when Rossi was just coming in, and he was like, "Look, every kid I have, you just don't take as many risks because it's such a dangerous sport." And he's just like, "There's nothing you can do about it, but you're thinking about them when you're racing and stuff." So it's like that's why he's like, that's why this guy's kicking our asses because he's 21 and he's fearless and he's invincible.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Exactly.
To put it into context, Rossi, he's been racing at like top flight motorcycle racing, either at 125s or onwards, 26 years.
Yeah,
and I was thinking about like my earliest memories of Valley on the bike. And I can remember being at my grandparents' house and like on the weekend. And it was when like Channel 10, I think they still do it now, but with like the Phillip Island, they'd show all like the 125s, 250s, and then the 500 cc's as it was back then.
Yep.
And I remember watching it with like my grandpa and like seeing this young kid in the 125s just dominating. Like he was like almost lapped second place. He was that quick.
He was like 17 or something as well at the time.
Yeah, so young at the time. Now, my grandfather's been dead for like 12, 13 years now. That Rossi, his whole career lasted double that. To the point where, the passing were going, like that's already gone, and he's doubled that in the time he's been racing. No one races motorbikes for that long at the high level and with that much skill, and is still kind of like, he's not racing for the championship this year, but he's still competitive. Like he's still pretty quick on the bike.
Yeah, he's like a Roger Federer. He's still harassing the top 5 or whatever. He's still, and he can still pop up for a win here and there if you let your guard down because he's wily and he knows his way around and that kind of shit. Yeah.
But I can't think of another motorsport person that can be in your consciousness for 26 years. Where I remember being a kid at my grandparents' house. Now I've got a kid who's like almost the age when I was watching Valley, if you know what I mean, when he's retiring.
Yep.
Like no one has that longevity in motorsport, and especially motorbikes because of how fucking dangerous it is. And it's just, you can't keep that pace up. He's, in my mind, and I think yours as well, the greatest racer of all time. And it'd be a different scenario next year where you don't see Valentino Rossi on a MotoGP grid.
Very well said, Greeno. That's a nice Gary. Nice, Gary. I have my own first memory of Valentino Rossi, and it's this. It's when he won the 1-2. This is the first I ever heard of him.
Yes.
When he won the 125 championship, they always go over and get a flag or whatever. Remember, he's like 17 or something at this point.
Uh-huh.
And he went over because his posse, right, are all of his like childhood friends. So he basically created jobs for them so he can just hang around with his friends and go on tour. And like when he's not racing, he parties with them and shit. He's just. So he's won the 125 championship, and one of his friends held this sex doll over the fence, and he went and picked up the sex doll, and he then like does the victory lap around with the sex doll. And I think from memory, the sex doll had written on it Claudia Schiffer. Like on its back, but I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it had somebody's name written on it, and I think it was Claudia Schiffer. So that's another nice Gary for Valentino Rossi. And because remember he used to get in trouble, right? Because he had Viva la something in Italian, right? He had "Go the Pussy" on his racing suit, so it was like "Viva la Pussy" or whatever. And every sponsor because when he was in his prime, man, he was the fucking man. Like, so the sponsors would come in and say, look, they would want to pay millions of dollars to him to have their symbol on his race suit somewhere. And they would say something like, oh, look, but we don't want anything to do with like that "Go the Pussy" that you've got written right underneath your helmet. And he would say, fuck off then. I don't want your money.
Yeah.
He's a fucking legend. And I do feel sorry for poor Sete Gibber now, though, because whenever I think of Rossi, I think of Sete,
Yeah, like the guy who probably would have had 3 world championships probably under his belt.
At least.
2 maybe. He had a couple of good years that day, but it was always because Rossi was just ahead of him, no matter what. So that happens. I think my favorite Rossi story, like that, this one's pretty good, and the guy that pussy's pretty good, but it was his rivalry with Max Biaggi, a fellow Italian.
Yes.
And they came up through the juniors together, through the 125s to 250s, and Max was tipped like coming up because he was a little bit older than Valley.
That's right. Yeah.
Max was the star. It was like he's the next big Italian racer. And don't get me wrong, Max Biaggi was an amazing motorcycle racer.
He just had shitty bikes most of the time. It wasn't even his fault.
Yeah, it's it. Couldn't keep him upright, and at the same time, never just had the right bike. Had good pace, but never as good. But so everyone was expecting Max to do good, but then suddenly this young upstart Rossi came through, and it became a bit of a rivalry because everyone was talking about Max, and then suddenly Max started hating Rossi because Rossi was winning all these races, and
taking all of his stardom, mate. Yep.
Yeah. And I think there was one race where they were kind of fighting, and I think Max may have been disqualified or something like that. I can't remember the specifics of the story, but one race where it looked like Max was going to win it, and the victory got taken away. Oh no, so it was the reverse. Valentino Rossi won the race, but got disqualified for something he'd done, and Max Biaggi was meant to get the trophy.
Yep.
And Rossi refused to give it back, and would then send pictures of him with the trophy and his mates to Biaggi just to piss him off. Just like complete dick behavior.
Just such a child,
so
eh?
Like
such a child.
But so funny in doing it.
He's an absolute fucking living treasure.
They're taking the picture away from me. Fuck it. You want the trophy? Come get it, dickhead. Here's a photo of it.
Sending postcards and shit with the trophy. Just hanging out with your trophy, Max. What do you think? The boys. What a fucking dickhead.
I love that. It's got stupid shit we would have done in our 20s.
That's fantastic.
I want to talk a little bit of cricket, Damo.
Okay.
For some reason, Australia is playing a pointless T20
We
series.
are, aren't we? I only found out about it like days later. I was like, really?
Yeah.
We're playing cricket again? Okay.
Yeah. I guess in the lead up to the T20 World Cup, and they're going to try and get some games under their belt, but it's also a bit of cash. Got to get some cash. Got to play the Bangladeshis.
Yeah.
Now, I saw the squad that they picked the other day, and I'm like, this is the biggest piss take of a team I've ever seen in my life.
Well, who was in it?
Now, let's go through the squad here,
Okay.
Damo.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you the positions of these players, what they play, as I'm going through the list. This is the order of the batting lineup.
Okay.
Josh Felipe, wicketkeeper.
Okay.
Alex Carey, wicketkeeper. Mitchell Marsh, all-rounder. Moses Enriquez, all-rounder. Matt Wade, wicketkeeper. Ashton Turner, all-rounder.
Why do we have
Ashton
three? Why are we taking three keepers?
No, let me finish. Ashton Turner, all-rounder. Ashton Agar, all-rounder. Mitchell Stark, bowler. Andrew Ty, bowler. Zampa, bowler. Hazelwood, bowler. We picked a team that has 3 wicket keepers, 4 all-rounders, and 3 bowlers. Not one specialist batsman. Do you want to know how we're doing this series, Damo?
What? Wait. That's we don't have any batsmen?
There's not one batsman. We've picked nothing but wicket keepers and all-rounders. I shit you not. It was
Why
the biggest
are we doing
piss take of this. Because we've lost our minds. I don't even know what we're doing.
So how are they going? They haven't won a game.
They're 0-2 against Bangladesh. Haven't won a game yet.
What's going on? Like, why? Who picks a cricket? I don't. It doesn't. I'm sorry. I'm struggling to make sense of. I've never heard of a cricket team being selected before that has no batsman in it.
Zero batsman.
Why would that be? Why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense at all. That's like saying gravity gets reversed. You know, like instantly we're all walking on the ceiling now. That's what I'm feeling like. Hey, what? Where's the batsman?
Well, they did the same thing against the West Indies, the series they lost over there, where the only specialist batsman was Aaron Finch. And then they had nothing but all-rounders and wicket-keepers, and we lost that series 3-0 as well. And then Finch got injured. So, like, do we bring in another batsman? No, fuck it. Put another wicket-keeper in there. We need three wicket-keepers and 4 all-rounders.
Is Cricket Australia just using these little 2020 tournaments as, training runs for one-dayers and test match squads? Like, maybe they've already decided... Maybe they've already decided the batting lineup of the one-dayers and the test matches, and it's just about giving everyone else, keeping them a little bit sharp, keeping their eye in because they're all part of the big squad or whatever. Maybe they're just treating it like with that level of disrespect. Who knows?
Well,
we've never been a real big 2020 country. You know what I mean?
But we've never won the T20 World Cup, so I think that's a little bit.
Because we don't care about it.
We don't care, but I know sending out a team with 3 wicket keepers though. That's just.
It is a piss take. It's definitely a piss take.
A farce.
The farce.
It's a farce. So I'm glad. Foxtel refused to pay for the rights.
It's really. Are you serious?
Yeah. It's not being shown on any Australian TV, even pay TV, because they're like, we're not paying for this series. Fuck that. And fair call based on the team they're picking. Now we're going to wrap up the show. It's a short show this week. You any story times before we go?
No, I'm good.
Nothing this week either?
No, I got nothing for you. Nothing.
There you go. All good. We're going to end it on a stat man, sir.
Okay.
I'm a stat man. Bit of an Olympic stat man. Australia's quite a successful games this year. This time round, most ever gold medals so far for Australia was 17.
Yeah, where are we on the medal rankings? Like, what's our
5th,
10th,
5th overall?
Nice, Gary. Because our highest before this was, I think, 7th in Sydney, wasn't it?
Yeah. Athens. Athens was our previous highest.
Oh, really?
Gold medals as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And we got more medals overall in Sydney, but not as many gold medals, which is what they base the rankings on.
Okay, 5th. But not bad for a little country of fucking 25 million. Thank you very much.
Exactly. But how about Emma McKeon? She joined Ian Thorpe and Liesl Jones as Australia's most successful Olympians, where she got her 7th medal in these games and 11 overall. Nice, so now she holds the record for the most ever medals by an Australian. If she was her own country, I heard this stat a couple of times this week. If she was her own country at the time she finished her competitions, she would have been the 11th ranked country herself on the medal ladder.
That's incredible.
Unbelievable.
And it is worth noting too, like these Olympics specifically. Even my dear old mum mentioned this too. She's like, you know what? It's the girls are the ones doing the job over there. And I'm like, oh, fucking oath. The girls are doing everyone proud. Like the girls smashed it in everything they were in pretty much.
Crushing it. They did so good in the pool.
Yeah.
The volleyball team got the silver today.
Yep.
What were the other a couple of other events that they done really well.
In the pool especially though, the girls were just
the pool, they were unbelievable. McKeon, Campbell, the relay team, C-Bomb, like all of them just absolutely crushed it. They've had the meets of their life, and
it's like they just knew at the start. I reckon they all knew at the start of the comp that it was going to be a good comp. Like they were going to, it was going to be a good meet. They're going to win a lot of races because you could just tell they were kind of perky going in as well. Like, no, we're good. We reckon we're doing all right. So
I think as well, like for them, like if you've been, they were saying a couple of them that the extra year actually helped. Because they weren't probably at
more
their peak a year ago, whereas the extra year to kind of train, because there were a couple of young girls as well, it just gave them that extra opportunity to train and kind of come into form.
Yeah, like put on more muscle and shit. Like you got another 9 months, like go for it. Just do more preparation, get better prepared, and all of that kind of stuff. Do the next Olympics happen? Like back on schedule? Yeah, right. So now you've got a year less to prepare, right?
Yeah. Spot on. So you got 3 years, but that's good for a couple of people that would normally retire.
That's true.
Because they're like, well, it's only 3 years to the next one.
I can squeeze one more out.
And that means it's only 1 year to the Commonwealth Games as well.
That's right.
Nice, There you go. So, plenty of inspiration there. And Penrith girl, Melissa Wu, who won the bronze yesterday. Now, that event was insane because to get a bronze in that is nuts because the 2 Chinese girls were freaks. Like, I've never seen. I feel bad for the girl who won. Like I think she did like 3 perfect dives. 14 years of age, but she seemed miserable afterwards. And just like, well, I guess they've got a family tied up somewhere in China. We're going. You better fucking perform. She did not seem happy. This poor kid.
Trained at a young age to like don't express any emotion, good, bad, or
no
otherwise.
emotion whatsoever. She just won a gold medal with like one of the most
brutal.
amazing diving performances I've ever seen, and yeah, just not even a sign of joy. And other Penrith girl, Jess Fox,
Yep.
with in the canoe as well. Like you're right, the girls are just absolutely crushing it.
Yeah.
Not so much the opals though, who maybe the idea of
that was a bit of one.
Sacking your best player because she's a fuckwit, it might not have been the best idea coming into an Olympics.
Well, you've got to sleep at night though, don't you?
True, very true. It's I don't know if you saw the did you see the skateboarding or anything? Actually, a quick story time.
Absolutely,
I like stories about pinatas.
It's the sports that I thought were stupid coming in, going really skateboarding or like.
Skateboarding, why not?
BMX, really? This doesn't seem like
they have snowboarding, so why not skateboarding?
Oh, totally. No, but as soon as they were on, I'm like, this is amazing. But someone else that I saw the other day, have you ever seen speed climbing?
Yes, I have, but it was an extreme game sport, not an Olympic game sport.
No, well, this is on the Olympics now, and it was unbelievable. These dudes are getting up a 15-meter wall of rock climbing in 6 seconds.
That's been that's been on the X Games for like 20 years.
It's
an amazing sport. Yeah, it's really
So I was all
they're
in on
like
that.
Spider-Man. Hey, the way they just go. They don't like. They're not taking their time. They're not looking at different rocks. They just go whack, whack, whack.
No,
it's like their
they
hands
just
have
bang,
fucking
bang,
glue on them, and they just go up.
Well, I was thinking about it logically. I'm like, these guys have gone up vertically 15 meters in 6 seconds. I don't think I could run on flat ground 15 meters in 6 seconds. That's how quick they are. But that was exactly what I said to my kid. I'm like, check out these ones. Like, these guys are Spider-Man. They're a real Spider-Man. It was unbelievable.
And it's funny you say that about the thing because, like, I always think of. Apparently, the world record for running backwards for 100 meters is like 20-something seconds. And I think I would struggle to run forwards 100 meters 20-something seconds. So I always wonder if the guy who would be running backwards and I'm racing against him and like I'm going, and if he would be trash talking me while he's running backwards because we're face to face, Greeno.
Yeah, it's looking at you, giving you encouragement. What are you doing, dickhead? Come on, let's go. But the skateboarding, the Aussie guy won gold in the skateboarding yesterday, won by like 10 points. He actually had the highest in the he could have got gold and silver based on 2 of his runs. That's how good he went. But they interviewed him last night. And I don't know whether it's just been a long day for the kid, but Channel 7 interviewed him like 10 o'clock at night Australian time. So I don't know whether it is in Japan, probably a similar time.
Yeah.
But the dude seemed baked as fuck.
Nice, Gary!
Like it's like someone forgot to tell him after the like medal ceremony.
You've got media commitments.
You're going to get interviewed 10 times in the next 5 hours. Put the bong down, dude.
No, he's probably thinking, no, that's exactly why I need the bong because I'm going to get interviewed 10 times in the next 5 hours.
I'm going to sit there and talk to Shervo for 10 minutes about mundane shit. But it was good to see you. But I must admit, we talked about it last week. Like before the Olympics started, I was like, oh, that's what it seems ridiculous it's going ahead, but I've enjoyed the distraction. It's been like fun kind of watching random sports, whether it be water polo or fencing.
What do we do now? I guess we've got footy finals and shit coming up around the corner.
Footy's coming up.
But it's not the same now because like I've gone to one game this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
It's not the same investment, man. I've been like every game like for 10 years kind of a guy, and now for the last 2 years, barely seen a game live. And it's like, even the lovely Lady Boogs is like, I don't even know who's out there. Like she's like, I don't even know who's playing because we haven't been going and watching them. If you go into all the home games, you know the team. You know the way they play and stuff. And now you watch and you're like, I don't even know what's going on.
It's a different level of investment. I know even for footy, like my team's not doing too good this year, but I got a message from a mate tonight, and he's like, oh, your boys are playing terrible, but so am I. And I'm like, oh, my team's playing tonight? And the game is finished. I didn't even realize. I'm like, all right.
We're playing tonight as well against Geelong, in Geelong.
Yeah. So, Giants were up at halftime.
Yeah.
Up by about 20 points at halftime, I saw.
Really?
During the last break. So.
Crazy. We'll see what happens there.
But yeah, I get it. Like, it's a level investment. So we need a new distraction. I don't know what's going to keep us occupied once the Olympics are done.
Can we just start cancelling things again?
Definitely. Well, I'm sure there'll be some more outrage that comes from the closing ceremony, the trip home.
Oh, I hope so.
there's been too much positive media about the Olympians, so we're going to cut them down a peg or two. Like, we're going to dig up some dirt on someone.
Yeah.
Let's see how we go from there.
Absolutely. Good call. All right. We out of here?
We're out of here now. Sorry, I got distracted. Let's do some plugs and get out of here.
Follow Greeno at the starting block one. We'll drop the K at the end. Follow myself at BoogieBumper. Follow BE from the UK, the Earth Reporter, Brad_Everly, all of our friends. Till next week, Greeno.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. We'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you.
If I say that your tongue is vicious,
if I call you uncouth,
it's simply that.
Who else but a bosom buddy will sit down and tell